Michael Morbius is a biochemist on a mission to cure his rare blood disorder. Taking matters into his own hands, he whips up a potion featuring everyone's favorite ingredient, vampire bat DNA. Surprise! The treatment not only cures his ailment, but also grants him superhuman abilities. However, there's a catch. Morbius develops an insatiable thirst for blood. Now he's not just a brilliant scientist, but also a reluctant vampire. Watch him juggle heroics and hunger while dodging the law. A classic tale of self-experimentation gone wrong. This is Morbius, and it's Morbin Time.
And welcome back to another episode of the Nosebleed AV Club. My name is Matthew Morbius, and my co-host is my brother, Milo. And as you heard, we are talking Morbius.
Sat right into that one, no? Or rather hobbled into that one, huh?
Fell off your crutches right into that one. While chasing your paper. Please give me my letter.
Please. My boyfriend wrote that. Who picks up a letter, just a random letter, and it's literally like the most like normal letter ever. Like there's nothing like super incriminating about it.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I hope you're doing well. This is what I'm up to. Yeah. And like they're just like cracking up over it. They're dying, bro. It's like the funniest. It's like the funniest shit they've ever read.
They pick up a letter and go, "This must belong to the cripple."
Like, how do they know that?
Real quick before we start, do I look like the next evolution of man right now?
You look like I had a few jokes cycling in my head, but I don't know if I should say them. But
if not,
no, yeah, you look.
If not that, do I look like I would reject a Nobel Peace Prize?
You look sickly. You look like you've definitely, like, I don't know if it's AIDS. I don't know if it's COVID-20.
Yeah.
The clap.
Yeah. Could be anything.
Could be anything. You do look sickly though.
Anyways, as you've heard, we are talking Morbius, the phenomenon that is Morbius.
You know, I did think I would go my whole life without watching this movie.
There is something that should be pointed out. You actually spent money on this movie.
I did. Because you forced me to.
Look, man. I thought everyone still has Netflix. Apparently, I'm wrong.
You know what's funny is like I have been telling myself that I needed to get it.
Yeah.
Just because like WWE's moved to Netflix. The Vince Staples show is on Netflix. Avatar: The Last Airbender show just came out. So there's quite a few reasons for me to get the account again. But I just refuse to do that, and I'd rather spend $3.99 on renting Morbius off of YouTube.
You know what's hilarious? You almost wasted that money because when I watched Morbius, it was the last day it was on Netflix. So if I waited a day later, it would have been a wash.
You would have had to rent it too.
I would have not done that.
Because there's no way I wasn't gonna do this
I would
episode.
have not done that.
No, absolutely. There had to be something. You would drink the fake blood, coward.
We first need to get through the cast because that's honestly like the least of this movie's problems. Spoiler, with the exception of one, but let's just get into it. Morbius, played by Jared Leto, who, if you have watched our Haunted Mansion episode, haunts my room somehow. And every time I want to speak ill of him, something happens. So before we actually jumped on, I was having a myriad of issues trying to get this going. Webcam stopped working, sound stopped working. It was insane. Jared Leto is just in here and he needs to leave. Jared Leto needs no introduction, will not get one. So let's move right on to Milo, even though that's not his name, actually. I forgot what his character's real name was, but it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. Played by Matt Smith, who is Doctor Who, and who also stars in House of the Dragon, the Game of Thrones spinoff. Matt Smith usually kills it. In this movie, I'm not so convinced. Martine is played by Adria Arjona. I could be pronouncing that super wrong, but she was good in this movie, I guess. Look.
Go ahead, just go.
She's very pretty.
Go ahead, just go.
You may know her from Andor. She was also good in that. And Hitman, starring our boy Hangman. So we might have to watch that, dude.
Hitman?
Yeah.
Like the video game movie?
I'm not sure. When I looked it up,
right?
It must be, but it's Glenn Powell. It's Glenn Powell, and he had hair, so I don't know. You can't. So who knows? Dr. Emil Nichols is played by Jared Harris, who I know from Mad Men and The Man from U.N.C.L.E. Love seeing him in things. And I'm only bringing them up because I want to mention one of them. But the two most useless characters, the FBI agents, are played by Tyrese and Al Madrigal. And him, I wanted to point out specifically because is it just me? Or does he not look like Zach Braff doing an impersonation of Fred Armisen?
It's a lot of layers there.
It is, but every time he was on screen, it seemed like Zach Braff was playing Fred Armisen.
I could see where you get Zach Braff. Him and Zach both have like that doughy look to their face.
Little weak chin.
Yeah, so there's that. Tyrese, body of a god, I imagine, underneath that suit and trench coat.
I'm not so sure.
Maybe, still, who knows?
I don't know.
What more do you want from me?
And that's the cast of Morbius. Let's just get this out of the way. Austin does not like to let me live this down.
Go on.
So there is another Jared Leto movie, which some might say is a piece of shit. Total trash.
Like
Garbage.
immediately
Garbage.
While watching the movie, you could make that assumption about the movie. Like,
and that movie is 2016's David Ayer's Suicide Squad. Now,
release the Ayer cut.
let me give you some backstory. When this movie came out, it was shitted on by everyone. I went to the theaters, watched it maybe like a week or 2 or 3, I don't know, after everyone else saw it. I was expecting the worst, I was expecting garbage. And I left the theater not hating it. I was like, you know what? I don't understand what all the hate's about. Is it great? No, but I enjoyed it. Fast forward to my subsequent viewings. And yeah, that movie is a piece of shit, trash, garbage. It is horrible.
There's a part like in the beginning of the movie, I'm like, okay, I'm not really feeling this, but whatever. It's not as bad yet. Margot Robbie's great.
Yep.
There's some funny little bits in the beginning. The part where it shows Joker diving into the fucking vat of acid and fucking Kalani starts playing in the background. I literally look over. I don't even remember who I watched this movie with because I wasn't with Janice at the time. I think it was Brandon. I vividly remember saying, fucking kill me. This is so fucking bad. That scene like was everything I needed to see, where I was just like, yeah, this movie's fucking awful. Blew my fucking mind when we were talking about this movie and you didn't hate it. Like, blew my fucking mind. You had like the opposite effect of acquired taste.
So let's talk about Morbius in the same vein, another Jared Leto movie. He's arguably the worst part of this movie as well, as he was Suicide Squad, except you get more of them. And honestly, this is worse than Suicide Squad. I'm going to say it. It's worse than Suicide Squad.
I don't know. It's really fucking bad, but Suicide Squad was like watching like my favorite child get murdered in front of me.
Suicide Squad had some redeeming things about it, though. Margot Robbie.
Yeah, sure.
Will Smith.
Sure. But like, here's the thing, right? It took 2 days post me watching the movie for us to finally get a time in to record this episode. I've already forgotten like half the movie.
Yeah, same.
So that's the positive thing about this movie. Suicide Squad, I will never forget. Like, that's a problem. It's like a tumor that just hangs out in my brain for the rest of my life.
Point being of that story is I have been misled by a shit movie before. It will not happen this time around.
There's still time. Don't worry. We have many episodes.
This time I'm
film.
pretty firm on yeah, this was not good. So many things wrong. First of all, The graphic design sucked in this movie. Those motion graphics were so
the
generic and lame.
The beginning of the movie with the giant fucking M. He doesn't even use any of this symbology in his like character at all. So like, why are we focusing so hard on M for Morbius? I get it with Superman. Batman, we get the bat. That's his symbol. Like, in no point does he fucking use the M in any type of like, this is me. This is who I am. This is my identity. This is whatever. Like, why? Why do we need it?
And you know what's funny too? They open with the title. Usually movies will kind of tease and then show the title. This movie was just like, you're watching Morbius, bro. Like, you chose this.
You
chose this. You're doing this to yourself.
You know what the fucking hilarious thing about this is, right? Is like this movie, when it first had its original theater run, got memed so hard that it actually fooled some stupid Sony execs into thinking that their movie was popping.
Dude, it had like, a second theater run. Amazing.
It tricked. It's as if they couldn't fucking see how poor it was doing in the theaters. They were like, oh, but our engagement's off the fucking charts. Like, people must really want to watch this movie. And they just somehow maybe missed it on its first theater run. So we should do another theater run.
Meme culture, man. It went too far this time. Let's just get this out of the way because it's probably the shortest part of our conversation. Is there anything you liked about this movie? Was there anything that was like, oh, okay, that wasn't so bad from what you can remember? Nothing? Silence. I have one, but it's quickly followed up with a flaw.
I enjoyed Mexican Zach Braff, Fred Armisen. I thought he was fun. Yeah, I thought he was fine. He was probably one of the more parts of the movie where I was like, okay, fine, like can palate this. Yeah, whatever.
Wow.
Like the movie's fucking terrible. You asked me to answer questions.
I'm just very surprised that it's that guy of all people.
Like, who the fuck else?
I don't know. Like, not even just that guy, but just like anything of the movie. Could have been like the special effects were all right. Or
no, they weren't.
Or fuck it. I don't know. Matt Smith's dancing was great. I don't know, dude. Just anything but him. That is very surprising because that guy sucked.
I thought it was like fine for comic relief. It's like, okay, whatever. Like if I had to compliment something in this movie, I'm not saying that it's like he had me dying, you know, like I'm just saying like, okay, he didn't bother me.
He bothered me. Fucking Zach Braff, Fred Armisen looking ass.
I honestly think you could make the argument that out of everybody acting in this movie, he like tried. Like you could maybe make that excuse for Matt Smith, but just like these are actors, like really.
It's funny you say that because the whole time I was watching this movie, I was like, did anyone try? The writers, the directors, did anyone try?
Bro, they were all just fucking cashing in a check. Like, 100%. Honestly, you method acted for this?
Yeah, the only person I think took it seriously was Jared Leto, and
he's probably the worst.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for any of you 30 Seconds to Mars fans, but like this man has no aura. This man's got no aura. Like it's funny you mentioned Glenn Powell earlier. Glenn Powell in Top Gun, fucking oozing with aura. My man's got aura for days. Jared Leto, he thinks he does. He's got none of it, dude. He's fucking awful in this movie. He just does not have any type of inflection, any type of emotion. And even when he tries to show any emotion, it just comes off as just bland. Like there's no intrigue to his character at all. There's nothing interesting that he has to say. There's nothing interesting that he does. Anytime that the movie makes you think that you need to feel something for him or feel anything about his situation, you don't. It almost felt like I was watching like The Sims.
Hold on. We're getting too deep into a criticism. Let's just keep it brief. So Zach Braff with Fred Armisen is your one positive. The scene that I thought was fine for the most part was the horror scene where Matt Smith takes the fucking Venom thing off screen and then kills the fucking nurse. Although it was cool to look at, why would you make a hallway that way where you walk past it and then as soon as you walk past the area, it turns off the light? Who wants that?
See, here's the thing. Like, yes, I will admit that scene was shot all right. It was decent.
Yeah.
I don't like that scene because it enables that whole stupid notion of him getting the fucking venom or whatever you want to fucking call it. They just magically transport it to him. Yeah, I can't give that scene a nod because it just like contributes to that part of the movie that I fucking hate.
It looked cool. It's just a stupid scene in general. And also, like, why is it so far down for her to hit a switch that turns on everything? That should be like after each section she walked past.
Why is she alone?
Let's get on to Michael Morbius. I don't know what they were trying to make us feel for him. Because you see him as a kid, he's a fucking dick. You see him as an adult, he's a fucking weirdo. Like, what am I supposed to feel here? You renamed someone for the third time. He had like 3 dead best friends, and then a new kid comes around and is like, you're fucking Milo now. Like, what the fuck, dude? What is that?
Yeah, it's just like, is this supposed to show like his wittiness? How am I supposed to believe that they form a solid connection off of this?
Yeah.
He basically just takes this kid's name away from him. Janice pointed this out while we were watching the movie. When Matt Smith's character is fucking dying, he makes it a point to be like, you gave me my name. And then he calls them the other name. Any type of significance or importance we're supposed to feel for him giving him that stupid fake name to begin with, you fucking crumple up and throw it away like a goddamn letter from my cripple friend. The movie doesn't even follow its own rules.
Speaking of paper, what was the point of his fucking origami shit too? Like, that's never explained or like never like elaborated on like why he
like
does
what's the significance behind it?
Yeah,
you know,
it's like, dude. Okay, you know what really bothered me? They have a blood disease, right?
Yeah.
But like, he's pretty crippled. They made a point to show his fucking shoes being untied. It's like, motherfucker, why are you wearing shoes with laces? They're slip-ons, bro.
Well, it's like, why is he even walking? Like, fucking get a wheelchair.
True.
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, they don't establish like the conditions of his sickness or Milo's either. It's just like they're sick. It's blood related.
I don't even necessarily need to think that they need to elaborate on it. Like, okay, we can get the gist of it, right?
But like, is it fatal because they're alive? They've grown into adulthood.
They at least make it clear that their life is either not going to be long or filled with fucking just suffering. Like, it's not a pleasant life to live, right? And it almost seems like they're basically kind of just forcing themselves to live with the hope that Michael Morbius finds a cure. Like, they both have faith in him finding a cure. What I think is the fatal error in how they approach this disease is that they play around with how the disease limits them.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, okay, fine. We can accept whatever the disease is. We don't need to know all the details of it on how it works or whatever. But like, in some moments, it looks like fucking Michael can't even goddamn walk down the hallway, and in other moments he's on a fucking helicopter flying to a different country. When he meets his friend again, he's like, let's go for a walk. Like, why? Like, why? Like, why would you force yourself to? You've already made it clear that it is agonizing for you guys to even just exist. Go out to like the patio or something. Like, why are you walking on a busy street, dude? I know some motherfuckers were mad as fuck because they got stuck behind them walking on the sidewalk.
Well, also, like, first of all, they put all this pressure on Michael to find a cure. And you know what inspired them to lay that responsibility on him? Him fucking around with a fucking blood transfusion box because it malfunctions. Like, oh yeah, you stuck a spring in there. Like, now go find a cure. Like, bro, first of all, you probably shouldn't have been fucking around with that machine in general, especially if this dude's life depends on it. You're just like, oh shit, let me just fuck with it. Like, yes, he did call for help, but also like, make sure you get fucking help. Milo should have died right there and then. Like, that kid should have been dead. There should have been the fourth Milo coming through.
Would have saved them a lot of suffering, to be honest.
Yeah.
During that part of the movie, they also make it a point to mention, like, there's like a school for gifted youngsters or whatever, obviously hinting at the X-Men. Is that a thing? Like, is he an X-Men? Like, does he go to that school? If he does, I wish we'd spent at least some time there to gain some more character development. Like,
but
I feel like
it's like the X-Men school is like for like mutants who actually have like abilities. This guy's just sick, crippled.
Professor X is crippled too, but that motherfucker can like use his mind for shit. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, this movie has opportunities to cover some interesting things, though, right? Instead of like the shit that they shoehorn into this movie, and like it just doesn't go there. Like, they just don't cover any of that. Like, I think it would have been interesting to maybe follow him to the school or whatever and see how he gets to the point where he's at now. There's things that they could have done where we could have gotten more character development and just more interest in him as a character, but they don't do that. I think the movie thinks it's making a bigger point than it is. Like, for example, when it shows him not accepting the Nobel Peace Prize, which granted they don't even show, by the way. So it's like even that they didn't even properly cover. So it's like
there's a lot of things they didn't properly cover, like how fucking Milo is fucking rich as fuck. Like his life is supposed to suck, but
mob ties, by the way.
But apparently he did really well for himself. Like, fuck it, dude. Like, and then when he complains, oh, like, you're gonna just let me suffer and live a life of pain, blah blah. I was like, bro, your life seems pretty fucking lit, if you ask me. You're doing well for yourself.
Yeah.
Like, you can't walk. Who cares, bro? You don't have to walk. You're rich as fuck.
So they make it a very big point for like Milo's character stumbling onto Jared Leto's character while he's like a vampire, and him wanting the cure, and then Michael basically telling him, no, you can't have the cure. And then the next thing you know, he has the cure. That could have been a very interesting moment to how he gets back in the lab. Why did we just skip to him already having it? Like, why didn't any of that get shown? They think that they dropped hints that imply how he could have gotten it. For example, the girl uses his password to activate the bat chamber thing, and she makes it a point to say, you know, your password's this. Everyone knows that. Like, I understand that you want to build the allure of, oh, who killed the nurse? Was it Michael Morbius? But there is not a single person who was fooled by that. I'm sorry. So if that's the route you're going to take, you have to do a better job, because everybody and their fucking mom could see that coming, that it wasn't him. Like, it's so fucking obvious.
It's funny that they cut so many like parts of scenes that they could have had, because this movie's not even that long. It's an hour and 44 minutes, if I remember correctly, and most superhero movies push 2 hours. So they easily could have shown these things at least really quickly to like, solidify, like, that's how he did it, rather than just us like assuming how he did it. You know what I mean? Like, they could have gone a little bit more into details with certain things. Like, the end was just like crazy quick. Like, it just ends so abruptly. From the time that he kills Milo to the end credit scene was like a minute and like 36 seconds. It was quick.
Thank God. Be over with it.
It was true, but also like, well, that's it. I was like, the fuck? It doesn't even like resolve it. Like, he's dead, but then it's like, okay.
The parts of this fucking movie that it chooses to spend time on versus the things it chooses not to spend time on is just baffling to me. We do not need to spend as much time as we do on like the effect of him like closing his eyes and using his bat senses to feel the room. So what bothers me about the vampire powers is like, how come when he's in his full vampire mode, he's like completely feral? Whereas Milo barely had any time with his fucking powers, and he seemed to get that shit real fucking quick. I think they had like a line or something where they're implying that because he drank blood right away, maybe that's what contributed to him having faster control of his powers.
Even if that was true, he's still not as powerful as fucking Morbius, because Morbius was able to figure out that he can fucking fly. Fucking Matt Smith was running at him in slow motion, like Morbius somehow processes time faster than him. And he's drank less blood. It just makes no fucking sense.
He was fucking drinking the jizz blood. This movie contradicts itself all the time, or at least it doesn't follow its own rules, or just doesn't even establish the rules properly to where we fucking understand how these powers work. And like, not every movie needs to do that, but like, if you're going to break your own rules, or if you're not going to properly establish the rules, you need to make up for it in other ways, which this movie does not do. All that this movie would have going for it is the world that it builds around these powers, and it doesn't even fucking do that. The acting's not there. The character development's not there. The set pieces that happen within the movie aren't there. So really, all I have to look forward to is the actual powers in this movie, and then how they're used within the world of this movie. And they don't fucking execute that either. The fucking shoehorned romance that we're somehow supposed to believe, no chemistry at all. You could have fooled me and told me that they filmed their scenes separately, because that's what it felt like.
There was more tension between Milo and her in that confrontation scene than any time she was on screen with Jared Leto.
I don't ever want to hear anybody complain about the Amazing Spider-Man movies 1 and 2 ever again, because as cheesy and as corny as those movies were, they are 10 times better than the crap that they've been pushing out lately, with whether it's the Venom movie, whether it's this movie. I'm not hearing great things about Madam Web either. And I'm not looking forward to Kraven the Hunter as well. Like, all these movies are going to be fucking terrible. All these Sony Marvel movies, they're just fucking awful. Venom was at least better than this. Tom Hardy was giving his all in there doing the best he could with a shitty script, and he at least made that character fun and interesting to watch. Jared Leto does none of that with this character. Like, this character is fucking bland as shit, boring as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
He literally could have been anybody else and it would have the same effect. You're not gaining anything by getting Jared Leto. So the fact that you're paying all this money to get him is insane to me.
Do you think this movie would be as quote unquote successful though if Jared Leto wasn't in it?
How do you judge success? This movie was only quote unquote successful is because people were making fun of it because of Jared Leto.
Exactly. So if there's no memes to be had, does it make as much money as it did?
I think yes, it could, because Venom is a fucking terrible movie too. But Tom Hardy, being a respectable actor that wasn't mean to all fuck, he made the movie his own through his own way of acting and making the character interesting. And that movie got a sequel, and those movies fucking did great at the box office. You could have done something and it probably could have still been successful. Would the engagement have been as good as this movie was? Probably not, but you're really judging it based off of something superficial if that's the case, because again, the engagement wasn't because the movie was good. The engagement was because the movie was so fucking bad.
I do think Jared Leto helped this movie out though, like as far as getting people to actually try to watch it or meme it. Whatever happened with this movie, I think he played a huge role in it. Like, I think if it was like some lesser known actor, I don't know if it would get the same viral effect as this movie did.
His role outside of the movie was more important to the movie than his role in the movie. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
One of the things that like really fucking bugged me about this movie and his powers is like the fucking vapor trails. From my understanding, that is supposed to be a visual representation of sound.
Okay.
Because that's his whole thing, is like he's sensitive to sound because he's a fucking bat, right? You have a chance to really do something interesting with this power. He's clearly in New York City, fucking crowded with noise in every direction, noise pollution everywhere. So like for me, it's like, okay, here's another chance for you to do something interesting with this character where you could show him really struggling with his newfound abilities in this aspect because it's so overwhelming for him. But then he eventually is able to harness this part of his power and like use it to his advantage. So like when he uses sound waves in order to fly, that's why the train coming was such a big thing, is because the sound waves coming from the train is what pushed him to basically propel himself.
I thought he was going to push him into the train.
Yeah.
And then he took off flying, and I was like, what the fuck?
You didn't even need the sound aspect. If he just flew, if that was just part of his powers, I would have fucking accepted it. So why even attach it to this? Because you're not using it in any other capacity. The blood thing seems like a non-factor. They make such a huge deal about him running out of time. It's decreasing in effectiveness. It's only a matter of time where it just becomes completely ineffective. Later on in the movie, after we've grown accustomed to him having his powers for a lot of the movie, they do another time check when he's with, what's her face, and they're talking, and he's like, she's like, how much time do you have left? Like 4 hours. It's like, it still's like I get it that not a lot of time within the world has passed, but you could have done something to where you make that a little bit more meaningful, more suspenseful. Like you could have said it's only effective for an hour now. The whole timer becomes completely ineffective because the last time we hear about it is like its effectiveness is at 4 hours, and then we never hear anything of it again. So like, why even putting that time limit on you? You know what I'm saying?
Even just besides like the effectiveness, right? Like, why did he automatically assume that he needed human blood? You don't want to at least try animal blood, dude? Like, you don't want to experiment as a scientist? Like, you just immediately go, yeah, this fake synthetic blood's not working. I must need human blood. Like, how do you get to that conclusion? Experiment, try out other bloods, dude. Like, what are you doing, you fucking idiot?
That's what I'm saying. Like
vampire bats don't drink the blood of other vampire bats.
They don't drink human blood.
Like,
either.
You fucking drink other animals' blood. Like,
they
dude,
like cows and shit.
Like, why are you jumping to that conclusion?
Also, like, if he drank the blood of like someone that had like AIDS, would he get AIDS? Would that kill him?
Speaking of blood in this movie, and they're fucking
he's a blood in a crip.
Yo, actually, that just made me like Morbius more, man. But the vampire stuff in this movie, so fucking dumb, because there's a scene when he's with Martine before another really bad scene where she's like trying to get him to like grab the cup of coffee that's in the sunlight. And he goes, I'm not that kind of vampire. Like, he's not going to get burned. But yet,
you're the kind of vampire that fucking drinks human blood.
Yeah, but yet they do a whole Twilight scene where she cuts her finger and he's like... Like, really?
Correct me if I'm wrong. They also, like, when they're like trying to figure out a way to kill Milo, doesn't she mention like driving a stake into his heart?
Yeah, like she's reading like some book about vampires.
Again, you're playing with this idea of vampire, not that kind of vampire. Like, like make up your fucking mind, you know, like go one way or the other. You know, even if he's not that kind of vampire, you could at least play around with it a little bit more. This movie is too serious for its own good. That's another reason why, while Venom isn't a good movie, I think that's a reason why Venom is better and a more enjoyable watch, because Venom has fun. I kind of wish that they switched, right? Where Venom maybe was a little bit more serious and this was a lot more fun. Venom has some really genuinely like funny moments between him and Venom where they're just having like whimsical banter together and shit like that. This movie, it was way more stupider in premise, so therefore the door for it to be more funny was a lot more open, in my opinion. And you should have just embraced the camp and the goofiness of it. It would have been 10 times better. Why do drug dealers have fucking science equipment in their fucking, like, why is the equipment used to counterfeit money synonymous with equipment used to synthesize cures for vampirism?
Look, man,
like,
this guy, he's just smart, man. He's gifted.
Also, like, what the fuck? Did the guys come in, right? The counterfeit dudes, they come in. They came in and they just gave her money. Like, it doesn't even, I don't even know if they bought anything.
No, here's the funny thing. Here's the funny thing about that scene that I just realized. So they come into the cafe. They give it to her. She tests it with the fucking counterfeit checker pen. Do they not have that themselves? Did they need to go to the fucking cafe to do that?
Like, I don't know, like, were they just testing it to see
because
if it worked?
they were like, she was like, yeah, no, these ones aren't good. And then he's like, there's more over there that's coming from. And then he's let's get back to the lab.
Clearly didn't work, right? And then they walk away, and then Morbius follows them, and he's like listening in on them while he's following them. And they make it a point to be like, oh, good thing we switched to that paint. Like, as if they're like high-fiving themselves because it fucking worked. It didn't work.
It didn't work.
Like, it didn't work. So why are they talking as if it did? I have one big thing that I want to talk about that really fucking annoyed the hell out of me with this movie. I'm sure you picked up on this, but this movie wants us to fucking love it so hard that it squeezes in a few moments of like fan service where it makes references to other superhero movies. The big ones to me is the very first reference that I noticed was an homage to the Batman bat scene when Bruce falls down the well and then he, stands up and all the bats fly around him. Morbius does that in his little fucking bat tube. There's another one where he makes the thing where he's like, I'm angry, you wouldn't like me when I'm angry, which is like a reference to the Hulk.
He goes, I'm hungry, you won't like me when I'm hungry.
Yeah, so there's that reference. There's one that Janice thought was a Spider-Man reference. I was a little iffy on it. I wasn't sure. Like, it's like a way like he lands on a building, she thought was maybe like a reference to Spider-Man. I don't remember. I'm not exactly sold on it, but I know there was like other references to like other superhero movies, but it's just like so useless.
Can we talk about the doctor? Okay, so that hospital, did everyone have that blood disease? Because if they did, why did he favor Milo so much? Kind of sus. It's kind of weird.
They must have blew all the budget on Jared Leto because there was literally only 2 kids in the entire hospital.
I don't know. That was weird. It's like, why is he still with this dude? Why is this guy still looking after Milo? Like, what is this?
Yeah,
Also, when fucking Milo damn near kills him, and then he's like, oh, give a message to Morbius. It's like, dude, you fucked this guy up.
He's dead.
Bad.
He's dead. Like, if they didn't show that last scene of him talking to Michael Morbius, you would have just assumed that, yeah, he's dead.
Yeah. Yeah. He like slashed him like 3 times with like gnarly gashes. Like, bro, you're going to bleed the fuck out. Also, just the FBI agents, man. You take those guys away from this movie, nothing changes. Nothing changes.
Add a single thing to this movie. Like,
no.
At all, dude. This is why I said this movie feels like The Sims, because you could literally tell your sim to do anything with no reason or ration and they're just going to go do it, right? That's what this movie is. Like, characters are just doing something and it just doesn't make sense why they're doing it, or there's no rationale to them doing it. And anything they do is just super inconsequential because the next thing they're going to do is not going to make any fucking sense. There's no flow at all to their rationale or the way they think. For example, when he's on the ship, right, when they're experimenting and it's just the 2 of them and then all these fucking like mercenaries, they're hired, right, by the scientists to one, let them use the ship, but then two, like guard them, essentially, right? I would assume that's their purpose, right? They're hanging out at top. One guy's like, oh, hold up, I'm gonna go check on the scientist. He goes down there and immediately just starts harassing her. like 0.1 seconds of him opening that door, he just starts harassing her.
Yeah.
So it's like, was that your intention the whole time? Like, you went down there and you just knew that Michael Morbius wasn't there to like witness any of this? Like, you just went in there directly, like, I'm just gonna fucking try to hit on her or whatever. It just doesn't make any sense, or at least it just doesn't flow properly. Like, so stupid.
Well,
and
also
then
that whole premise, right? So Milo sets up that ship lab for him, right? Because Morbius goes like, oh, I'm onto something, you know, like I might have it or whatever, right? He takes it, immediately murders 8 people, jumps off the fucking boat, and I guess swims to shore or whatever. You would think you make something, right? And it led you to murder people. You think you would just kind of throw that away, right? Like, back to the drawing board, not go like, oh yeah, I have the cure, buddy. Maybe, you know, not tell him that. Maybe he said, oh, you know what? I still need more time, maybe. Or anything really, other than just saying like, yeah, I got it, but like it makes me this monster.
When fucking Milo was like, oh, like, you look great, like, you know, like, you had the cure.
That's the thing,
like,
dude.
It doesn't take, like, he takes so long to just tell him, like, yo, dude, you're going to, like, turn into a fucking monster. You're going to need to kill people. And right then and there, Milo could make it very clear to him, like, oh, I don't care about that. And then, boom, we don't need to go through any of this, like, you're not the Milo I know. Like, no, you could figure out right then and there, oh, this guy doesn't give a shit. He doesn't care if he becomes a monster. He just wants to fucking not have this disease anymore.
But also, it was like, okay, when he took the cure and then like he went psycho, he went feral, and then when he became normal again, there was no moment of him like, I understand you just realized you killed a bunch of people, but at the same time it's like, oh shit, I can fucking walk normal. How he was just like, yeah, I'm gonna fucking swim. Like, how, dude?
You need the Peter Parker moment of him.
Yes, I do, because he was just acting like, yeah, this is me. And then like when he got back on shore, right, and he went back to his lab or whatever, people weren't like, dude, you're walking normal. Hey man, you put on some muscles in like 2 days. Like, no one was tripping about him.
Again, like, this movie skips so many opportunities to have like a far more interesting conflict or dialogue in the movie. So like, Milo finds him, you have the cure. He's like, no, the cure's not worth it. It's a curse, Milo. It's a curse.
You don't want this.
Right? You don't want this. Tell him how it's a curse, right? Because he never actually does that. And then when Milo hears like, you have to drink blood and da-da-da-da-da, because like, if we're supposed to believe that Michael Morbius knows him, and Michael Morbius is this really fucking good dude apparently, clearly we're to believe that Milo is also a good dude that gets corrupted by his want to be cured so badly. But like, we don't even get a single moment of him struggling with this conflict. He's so quick to be like, yeah, I'm fucking evil now because fuck it. If we're supposed to believe he's a good kid that was just corrupted because he was just so sick and tired of being sick, at least show some turmoil within him coming to that point of resolve where, yes, this is morally not good, but I want to live normally so badly that I'm willing to forgo that. Like, give us something, right, for character development.
They do a really bad job at it because it doesn't work for me at all. But I think they try to establish that like he has it in him when he's beating up the kid, or when he goes back to beat up the kid who was bullying him. But like, no, that doesn't tell me anything. Like, that kid was a dick. I would do the same thing. I think anyone would do the same thing.
Specified in that, but also like, that happened like 25 years ago.
Right. And like the fact that he's so comfortable with killing other people because he has a vendetta against people because they're not sick.
Dude,
like, so he can kill them so easily. Like, it doesn't make any fucking sense to his like character.
Listen, I have a vendetta against normies too. I get it, but we're not gonna fucking go on a rampage on them. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
like, my vendetta is against sick people, like or not sick people, healthy people.
Like, killing 3 dudes because one of them has a girlfriend who you tried hitting on doesn't make any fucking sense.
That whole scene doesn't make any fucking sense either. This girl is standing at the bar, not even facing this other guy. Back is turned to him. He comes up to her, starts chatting her up. He doesn't say anything. He's there. He's not saying anything. There's no part of us at all that is supposed to know that, oh, this could be risky for him. Like, it just seemed like the guy that's the boyfriend, or at least the guy trying to hit on her.
Yeah.
He looks like the fucking asshole, which I'm sure they're I don't know. Like, I I can't tell who's the asshole in this situation, right?
Right.
Milo is fucking chatting her up, buys her a drink. All of a sudden, he turns around and is like, oh, her drinks are paid for, buddy. It was like, okay, she can always get another one. Like, that's not a big deal. And then also, Milo offers to buy him a drink too. I would have been like, okay, cool, whatever. This guy's chill.
Yeah.
Like, let's all have a good time. Like, nobody does that, dude.
So his friends were trying to get that asshole dude to like leave it alone, but he still ends up killing them too for no reason. Like, what?
Also, why the fuck is it so necessary for them to drink the blood the way that they drink it?
Yeah, that's
fucking
I don't know.
They're giving that fucking blood packet to Glock 3000, bro. Like,
I don't know.
What the
I don't know
fuck?
what that was about. I was questioning that too.
Like, what, bro? Fucking Capri Sun, bro. Just Capri Sun it. Drink it like a fucking beverage. What are you doing, dog?
When he was testing out like how long the synthetic blood would last or whatever, and then that's when Milo comes in and sees him. Whose blood was he writing blood on the fucking glass? Was it his? Did he bite himself? Like, I don't remember.
I don't know exactly, but it was his own blood. It's just like weird choices in this movie. Can we talk about the fight scene? Can we talk about the climax of the movie? Oh, what, like 10 minutes of it? Like, it was barely the climax.
Okay, so they do their fight, right? It's the typical CG bullshit where they're just going hella quick, slow-mo scenes every now and then of them just like hitting each other, and then they fall down for what seems like an eternity into I don't know what that is.
Old New York.
Is that like I'm pretty sure that's where Mario found the fucking pipe to go into Mushroom Kingdom. It was probably that same area. So they're fighting, right? They fall. Milo hits the ground. Splat. Boom,
can I just say, like, they've barely even fought, by the way, too.
Yeah.
Like, there's barely any actual action sequences that happen in this movie. A lot of it is just them running away from each other.
True.
Like, they basically played tag to end the movie.
Or Jared Leto running away from Milo for some reason.
Yeah.
So Milo hits the ground, and then we get Jared Leto falling onto what was like a bar or something that was suspended, and he's just hanging on by his legs.
For some reason, hanging upside down. Yeah.
Like a bat.
Like, why, dude?
And then Milo's like, come on, you can do better than that. He's just spending a minute up there just hanging out for whatever reason.
You know, Simone Biles actually did the stunt for that. Fun fact.
And then, like, he cries, he screams or something, and then all the bats come.
Okay, this really bothered the fuck out of me. If, like, again, another case of this movie just not following its own rules. For some fucking reason, they make it a point for him to go into the chamber with the bats. He says, ever since I've gotten this ability or this power, you know, it's like they see me as one of their own, you know, and they treat me as one of their own. I was like, it's like we're connected, right? So like, it's to show
that's the setup to this part.
The blood in him makes it so that the bats recognize him as one of their own, right? That's supposedly the rule that they're establishing here, right?
Right.
He then uses his ability to call the bats and to have them attack Milo, who also has the blood in him. Why wouldn't they also recognize Milo as one of their own? And also, why wouldn't Milo, who has clearly demonstrated has a pretty good grasp on how to use his powers, why wouldn't Milo be able to do this? It should just be a matter of you guys do the same things, but you have a higher IQ in how you use it, maybe, right? That could be an interesting way in how this gets resolved. But no, he just fucking overpowers him with this power, which in theory, Milo should also be able to do. So it should counter itself out.
Fucking bat bending, bro.
And then, like, the whole time I'm just like, what are they doing to him? Are they, like, biting him?
Yeah,
or are they just flying into him? Like, what's happening to him exactly? Walks up to him, boom, dead.
Yeah.
Over.
Basically.
What? Like, this is how you end this? If this was like an actual good movie, there'd be some sort of fight sequence where they're maybe both fighting over the needle or something, or like the needle is just getting tossed around and then eventually he finds a way to like trick him or whatever and hits him with it when he's not looking.
Or instead of the stupid 1 second reveal that Martine is now a vampire, you have them struggling, fighting over the fucking vial, and then you have her coming out of nowhere, vampire mode, fucking stabbing Milo.
Yeah.
That would be a better reveal.
Would have been a way better reveal. Fucking, it's just stupid.
I don't know a lot about Morbius. Is he an anti-hero?
He's supposed to be like an anti-hero, yeah.
Okay, because he only really gave a fuck about killing people for like 2 minutes, and then like he was never concerned with it again. And then he visibly watched Milo kill a few people, and again was just like, okay, dude, are you just okay with people dying? Because that's what it seems like. They formed this whole relationship about him and the fucking lab person who died, right? The nurse. He's like, oh yeah, we work together every day. I knew her for years, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I knew her kids. And then just like nothing, dude. Just like no emotional like weight to anyone's deaths.
That's just him being a bad actor, right? Because like he verbally, he does say lines where like it implies that he feels really fucking bad. She should have never died. I can't tell you why I did it. The thing is, it's like he kills like a shit ton of people in the beginning of the movie, right? Eight people, I think.
Something like that.
Like he has this whole inner turmoil within himself for like, I'm a killer, da 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 da. Clearly struggling with the fact that he may have killed the nurse too. Like he's uncontrollable. He doesn't want to kill people. That's why he's so hard set on drinking the synthetic blood. He never wants to drink the real blood. And then Milo even tells him like, it wasn't you, it was me. I killed her like immediately. Like so that gets resolved quickly. It was me. So, okay, cool. I am a good person. You know, I didn't kill him. But like, no, you still killed 8 people, by the way.
You did.
Innocent people.
And you watched people die. You did not once try to stop Milo when he was killing those cops. You were just watching it, dude.
You're not the best person. I'm not going to sit here and say you're evil, but you know, like, you're not absolved either.
And also, like, I'm pretty sure your condition's not fixed. Aren't you still in that predicament where you need to fucking get human blood?
Well, here's the thing, too, right? He drinks real blood in the prison.
And then he fucking drinks Martine's blood, too.
Yeah, you already broke that rule again. And then Milo's like trying to get him to like, give in. You're one of us. Like, let's just be this together. No one will be able to stop us. And he's fighting it. It's like, okay, well, the ship was already sailed for you to drink human blood. Like that's already happened. So you've done that already. Yeah. You did that willingly. And then and then you drink Martine's blood, which that one I kind of get a little bit more because it's like, oh, she tells him straight up, like, don't let my blood go to waste. Like use it to fight him or whatever. Okay, fine, whatever. At this point, like this whole internal conflict you have of being evil and drinking human blood and like crossing the line, right? Mm-hmm. This whole turmoil you have about crossing the line, that's already passed. That line doesn't exist
Long
anymore.
Gone, buddy. That brings us to the very end where we get the whole Vulture reveal. Appears in Morbius' cell for some reason. Like they're alluding to No Way Home, the whole multiverse. I think the rules of No Way Home, was that the last one? No Way Home brought other villains or whatever into Tom Holland's Peter's universe, right? It drawed everyone to his time or whatever. But for some reason in Morbius, a person in Tom Holland's universe came into the shitverse and somehow has his equipment, even though he farmed that from the Avengers fight, whatever. And then proposes a team up with Morbius to stop Spider-Man, who, as far as I know, does not exist in his universe.
Because you would think he would have done something or would have been around.
Yeah. And then Morbius is like, fuck yeah. Why? He has no reason to hate this guy. He doesn't even know who this guy is, probably. It makes no sense.
Well, like he also like has no reason to fucking like team up with this person. You make it such a big point for him to be a good person. And then he all of a sudden is just teaming up with like, I get it. In the comics, he's a villain. Why push the struggle, the turmoil in this movie so much then? You need to walk these lines better. They did the same thing in Venom. He's an anti-hero, but they don't make him an anti-hero. They make him like a good guy. Yeah. Like they're basically both misunderstood good guys.
Yeah.
Right? They should just have made them anti-heroes. Like if you made a decent movie, you make him have good qualities, but you make him have also some bad qualities, but you make those bad qualities seem understandable, rational, reasonable. Like Thanos. Thanos is very clearly the bad guy, but then you at least give him some depth to where you fully can understand why he's doing what he's doing. And even though you don't agree with it, you can at least, for the sake of the movie, you go along with it and you're like, okay, I understand why he is doing what he's doing and why he's a bad guy. Okay, I thought of one more thing to maybe give this movie credit for. I don't recall. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, there's no licensed music, right?
Yeah, I don't recall that either. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I'll give this movie some credit for that. Like this, because this movie screams licensed music. Yeah. Like it screams like licensed music, but as far as I can remember, there's no licensed music.
So this movie reminded me a lot of Venom, it reminded me of when superhero movies were getting made and they weren't very good. Let's just picture like early 2000s type movies, right? I damn near expected Linkin Park in the credits, bro. This is very much a superhero movie that will be on like FX or like TBS or TNT, like just played
made
like
for
like
TV. Like this is 1000% made for TV.
This is a movie
I still wouldn't watch it, but yeah, it makes sense for it to be there.
The only instance I could see this movie being watched on TV is if you're on vacation, you're channel surfing, you're like, oh, I heard a lot about this movie. There's nothing else on. It's either this or fucking Naked and Afraid or, you know, some other shit show. And you put it on because you heard a lot about it. You're on vacation. You're tired. You just want to mindlessly watch something. That's when you watch this movie. And then you never watch it again.
This is 100% Catwoman. This is 100% Ang Lee's Hulk. This is 100% Ghost Rider. This is 100% those kinds of fucking movies.
Yeah. I think we pretty much covered all of this. If not, like, I'm not losing sleep over missing something that we needed to shit on this movie about.
Fucking god-awful movie.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Okay, so I wanted to do a classic, Marry, Fuck, Kill.
Oh boy. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Your choices for Marry, Fuck, Kill.
Okay.
Michael Morbius, Jared Leto.
Yeah.
Joker, Jared Leto. And the Hatbox Ghost.
Okay. I got it.
All right. Let's hear your answer.
I'm going to kill 100 times over Joker Jared Leto.
Yeah.
That motherfucker gone.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
I'm going to fuck Michael Morbius.
Okay. Okay.
And let me tell you why, first of all. For as much as I hate Jared Leto, I'm not going to deny bro is beautiful, especially at 50. He looks amazing. For that reason, he's getting fucked.
Yeah.
And I'm marrying the Hatbox Ghost because I want to live in a mansion, baby.
Okay.
I want the fancy parties in the mansion. I want the good life. I want the lavish life. And that's the life that the Hatbox Ghost can give me.
So I too am going to murder the fuck out of Joker Jared Leto. It's fucking nightmare fuel. Like, I do not need to see him ever again.
I agree with that.
So get him the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to fuck the Hatbox Ghost because, you know, not the prettiest of looking of people, but you know the whole saying of like, you know, just put a bag over her head, you know, like he has a built-in thing with this, you know, where his head's not even on his body, you know, it's not even an issue. Like, just put the Hatbox, you could have some,
you could have some wild sex acts with that too. He can like, you can fuck him and have him lick your ass at the same time. It's insane.
You know, and like, listen, you know, it might be a good fuck because, you know, he does have a lot of experience. He does have a pretty high body count.
True. Let me ask you something. Would you fuck like his neck hole thing? Would you stick your dick in there?
No. I would rather stick my dick in the Dune popcorn box. In the Dune popcorn bowl.
All right, so you're not gonna try that.
No.
Okay.
No, I would rather fuck. Yeah, no.
Okay, for sure.
But yeah, Hatbox Ghost.
Definite fuck.
Definite fuck for sure. And then I'm marrying Michael Morbius. You know, because listen, marriage is a commitment, right? And my man was so committed to finding a cure that he literally turned himself into a vampire. There's nothing more romantic than that, right? And like, you know, it would have its, you know, issues. It would have its struggles, right? Like I would have to be very careful if I ever got like a paper cut or something, you know, not to be around him. Great sense of hearing, so he's a good listener. I only really realistically have to deal with him like 4 to 6 hours at a time. You know, when he decides to start turning, like, go fuck off somewhere, I'll go do my own thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, everyone needs their space. He seems like he'd be a good partner, you know?
You can't ever cheat on him. He'll find you.
I mean,
He'll hear everything.
I mean, I'll just take his stick with me. Good luck catching me.
Would your jizz count as blood to
artificial blood
life? Would that count?
That's actually like my April Fool's joke, because I replaced the artificial blood that he drinks with jizz. Oh, that's another reason. Well, that's another reason to fuck him and or marry him. You know, great grip control. Just
throat
fucking A1. Yeah.
Yeah.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do we believe the method acting rumors about Jared Leto in this movie? Because apparently the method acting rumors about him in Suicide Squad were a little bit overblown.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think he actually sent somebody like a dead pig. I don't know. I've heard it enough times to where I'm still inclined to kind of believe it.
Yeah.
But supposedly one of the stories that I heard about him method acting for this movie was that he refused to break character as the cripple. And he would.
That seems offensive.
Sorry.
No. Sorry. The fact that he would just be crippled seems. I don't know.
So he would be escorted to the bathroom. Some fucking poor PA had to escort him to the bathroom and hold him up and shit.
That's showbiz, baby.
like that's apparently something he did. Do we believe that Jared Leto would do something like that? Because I'm gonna tell you right now, I 100% believe he would do something like that.
I feel like that's some sort of form of like sexual harassment. Having someone hold you up while you fucking piss just seems like harassment.
I don't know if it goes that far. I think they just escorted him to the bathroom.
Well, you
held him up.
Yeah, exactly. But you're holding, like, clearly you're at the fucking urinal with him, right? Let's just.
I don't know. I don't know if he's
there. Urinal. They're holding him up. He's fucking like that. Just seems like sexual harassment to me.
This is where it would actually fucking send me, is that he's like method acting off camera as someone that's like, disabled. And then he fucking like falls, right? Like he plays it up so much that he like forces himself to fall down. And because like if that happens in real life, right? Like clearly you shouldn't laugh. That's like fucked up. Help the goddamn person up.
Right.
But if he does it and he's not really disabled, like, is it cool to laugh? Like, is that okay? Like, is it still taboo? Like, I
feel like Jared Leto is an easy target nowadays, now more than ever.
He's the one that painted the target.
Yes, I agree. With that. He
painted the target across his forehead and said damaged.
I don't know if he would method act to the point of being crippled off camera.
But that's what he was supposedly doing.
I mean, at what point does he finally realize that you don't need a method act for every role? This didn't seem like a role that you didn't need to method act for.
It's not doing him any fucking favors at all.
So was he like asking for blood too? Walking around every 4 hours going, I need blood.
Yeah, let me just do before we get to the scores, let me just Google Jared Leto Morbius method acting. Yep. Okay, so Morbius director Daniel Espinosa confirmed a rumor about Jared Leto in an interview with Uproxx. He confirmed that Leto used a wheelchair to travel to and from the bathroom breaks to stay in character. Leto's character relies on crutches to walk, but it was too time consuming to use them once. So he originally was using the crutches, and then they were like, "Yo, dude, you gotta use a wheelchair. You're taking way too long." The actor, who prefers to use the term immersive acting, shut up, dude, shut up, implied that he went beyond putting a pebble in his shoe to alter his walk and create a limp.
Oh, yo. What?
This guy's crazy, man. This guy's wild.
Okay, man. Respect.
Wild, dude.
Wild.
I didn't know that was like a tactic people would use to like mimic disabled.
Is that what
like
Matt Smith was doing? God, what a lazy bum. No wonder I didn't believe him as a cripple.
Yeah. Doctor Who? Matt Who? Yeah, nah. Okay, score.
Another positive thing I could give about this movie is it led Allie, my girlfriend, to saying one of the funniest things I've ever heard her say. So when we finished this movie, I asked her, what would you rate this movie? Now, mind you, she's not like us. She doesn't want to analyze anything. She doesn't care to. She likes to just watch movies as they are, take them in, purely entertainment for her. She just wants to watch a movie and enjoy it.
She gave it a 5.
She did not like this movie at all.
Okay.
I turned to her like, so what do you think? She's like, I didn't like this. I didn't like this at all. And she too did not mind Suicide Squad.
Oh my God.
So I asked her, what would you rate it? And she goes, oh man, like I don't want to rate it anything. But if I have to give it a rating, I guess 1. And I fucking died. She gave it a 1. And I was like, wow. Not gonna lie, I was probably gonna give this movie a little bit higher than that, but that's fucking hilarious.
What if I told you I was gonna give it like a fucking half point, like not even a 1, dude? Like this movie sucks.
It was bad, but like I don't know, her just verbalizing 1 just made me like yeah, this movie does suck. This movie is terrible. I was trying to go easy on it, but no, it really is that bad. That was just confirmation to me that like, yeah, this movie was bad. The fact that she was like, I don't want to rate it anything, but if I had to, I guess I'd give it a 1. That's like, yeah, that speaks volumes about this movie.
Like, I wish I never watched it. Still,
I'm gonna be honest. Sometimes the memes should just stay a meme. Sometimes the dream should just stay a dream. Sometimes you don't got to experience it. Sometimes you really are better off not experiencing something.
You know what's funny is like there's instances where that same type of thing occurred. So like Sonic, for example, right? The Sonic trailer dropped, people were horrified by the design so much that it basically forced the studio to go back and redo the CGI and make him look more like the video game character Sonic. I told myself, okay, I memed the fuck out of this when it first came out. They changed the design. We made them do that. I need to go watch this movie because I felt like an obligation to, as someone that participated in the memes that basically forced them to go do this, right? Yeah. I walked out the theaters like, honestly, not as bad as I thought it would be. It was fine. It's a kid's movie that it does what it needs to do. Also, James Marsden, fucking great. Yeah. Love James Marsden. Part of me maybe entertained the idea of that happening here too. But if there's one thing that people that know me, like personally, on a personal level, which I know you do know this about me, I fucking hate Jared Leto. There's not a lot of things in this world that I can say that I genuinely hate. Jared Leto's one of them. Pearl Jam's another. Morrissey's another. Can't stand them. Fucking hate them. This movie was just miserable. Yeah. Like I hated it. I literally could not think of anything positive to say really about it other than like I thought the fucking one detective wasn't too bad whenever he's on screen. I thought he was fine. For what it was fine.
That cracks me up.
Yeah, this is a fucking half-star movie for me. Like, I fucking hated this movie.
Can I give it like a 1/4 of a star?
No, you can't do that on Letterboxd. So you have to either commit to the half-star. I don't know if you could do a 0-star rating, but
I don't think so.
You know,
yeah, yeah. I'll probably give it the same, a 0.5.
Before Allie influenced your decision, what were you gonna give it?
I really don't know.
You're so forgiving. Because
2.5 for us in our scale, that's an average movie, right?
Yeah.
So like, damn, man, I was maybe gonna give it like 1.5, maybe, because I was like, how low is like reasonable low? You know what I mean? Like for this movie, I didn't enjoy.
This movie is at a disadvantage. If this movie had come out in the mid 2000s,
yeah.
If it came out before Suicide Squad, I would probably rate this higher. Like pre-Marvel, other good superhero movies, pre-Suicide Squad shaping how I feel about Jared Leto. Because before Suicide Squad, all I knew about Jared Leto was like Silver Linings Playbook, which I hadn't even seen, but I know that he won like an Oscar for it.
He's in Fight Club too.
I was like, okay, this guy supposedly is a good actor. And then, so I was like looking forward to seeing his portrayal of Joker. And then they revealed what he looked like as Joker. I was like, oh no. Ever since then, I was like, dude, this guy is fucking full of it. I fucking hate him. He sucks. His music sucks. Like, this is all bad. But yeah, I probably would have given this movie, like you said, so if like a 2.5 is an average score,
It has to be lower
than
that.
I would have given it like a 1.5 to 2.
Yeah.
You know, if it was before all that. But because it's post all that shit, and I have all these biases working against it, like, admittedly, it is a bias, but like, there's been times where I've had a bias towards something and I was proven wrong and I've given it a more favorable score. Yeah. This is not that time. This is a fucking half star for me.
No,
this movie's
like I said,
sucks.
I originally wanted to be more forgiving of it, but hearing Ali just straight up give it a 1 was just like, yeah, you know what? This is bad. Like, because, why am I going to take it easy?
Even if it's a bad movie, if I at least could have a fun time watching it, I will still watch it. Like Venom. Venom is not a good movie.
There are bad movies I enjoy.
Fucking sucks. But I'll like, it's fine. If it's on, I'll watch it. It's, you know, like, you know, I could trick myself into having a good time with it. This is just fucking boring. Like, it is just painfully boring.
And stupid.
Like, stupid, it's infuriating,
boring,
and it's just
and stupid.
Boring.
With that, Morbius gets a half star from the Nosebleed AV Club.
Legendary.
I don't think anything can beat this in terms of low score.
You can
only tie, correct. So no surprise, this is going at the bottom of our list all time and for 2024. It's just not good.
You think I could issue a refund?
You should. I cannot believe you did that.
There's another movie that is fucking god awful that's in our timetable to talk about.
Yeah.
That I would give a fucking higher score to. And that movie's fucking terrible.
Well, you guys will have to find out what that one is on a future episode of the Nosebleed AV Club. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, give us a rating, give us a follow. If you're watching this on YouTube and you've seen my commitment to the bit for this movie, give us a like.
Nobody noticed. They thought you were just tired.
Yeah.
You were sleepy.
Leave us a comment, subscribe, like the video, and do all that. You can find us on Instagram and TikTok at Nosebleed AV Club on both platforms. We have our rankings list on our website, nosebleedav.club. You can see this movie all the way at the bottom. We are trying to find an actual cure for Morbius's disease. So please do all those things. It'll really help us out and fund our research in that aspect. So thanks again for listening. We'll catch you on the next one.
What if someone like took one of the artificial blood packets and just like siphoned all of the blood out and replaced it with like bleach? You think that'd take him out?
Nah, it would just cure his COVID. And with that, we are out. Peace.